I wasn't ready. Okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. All right, welcome to class, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to all of us who are joining us virtually. I'm going to introduce our next unit, which is all going to be surrounding one president. His name is Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson is probably the most controversial president we've had in our nation's history, and that's including the most recent presidents as well. So that might tell you something about what his life might have been like. In order for us to do this unit, I'm actually going to explain to you how we're going to finish this unit, and then go back and tell you how we're going to get to that point. Because the unit kind of summative project that we're going to do is going to be a debate in class. And this debate is something I like to call a Jenga debate. Now, the reason why it's called a Jenga debate is because during the debate, we play Jenga. Now, technically I can't call it Jenga because this is not the official Jenga. This is the giant tumbling tower. So it's the great value version of Jenga. But if you've never played Jenga before, basically it's where you take the blocks like this. Right? This is my giant version of it. So you put them all together like this.
Giant tumbling tower.
Yes, our giant tumbling tower. If you're watching this online, it's a giant tumbling tower, not Jenga. Okay, don't sue me. All right. So, for copyright infringement, because Jenga's copyrighted because it's an official game.
Jenga, yeah.
And there's actually a company called Drango.
All right, so I'm not going to do this whole thing because literally this entire container is full of these. But the way Jenga works, if you're not familiar with it, you have like this tower. The tower would normally be about like this high or something like that.
Are we gonna put it there?
And then you try to like pull out a.
We get to play Jenga?
You are when we do the debate. So like I try to get.
Are we gonna
Second that I lose right away like that. So. But you get the general idea. So the way that this debate's going to work is we're going to have 3 different teams, and I'm going to have different ideas or statements or questions about Andrew Jackson that you guys are going to argue about. Every time one of the team wins at the debate, you get to come up, pull out a block, and on the bottom of the block, I'm going to have written different point values, and that's how many points that your team gets for that particular round. When if your team knocks over the entire thing, your team is eliminated, and the other 2 teams, whoever has the most points,
this
wins.
is stressful.
It is stressful, but the good part, this isn't for a couple weeks until we're actually going to play this. What we're going to do over the next couple weeks is we're going to get ready for how we're going to do this debate, and we're actually going to get the knowledge about Andrew Jackson so we can debate him. In order to win at a debate, you have to be good at making what are called arguments. Now, I know you're teenagers, and you've probably never been in an argument before, especially with your parents, okay? I know all of you get along with your parents with no problems whatsoever, and you've never had an argument before. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit today about what makes up a good argument in a debate and how that's different from just like, getting into a, yelling match with someone either next to you or online or something like that. So I have a little bit of a presentation we're going to do on this today, but I want to start off by passing out this right here. This is going to be our explanation of this project that we're doing, and also how it's going to be scored and all the pertinent details about it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is with the pencil that I ask you to take out is to start off by putting your name at the top. Okay? Your name is, well, if I have to tell you what your name is, then we're probably completely lost. So
What is it?
it's your official designation.
Yeah, what is my name?
Lucas Alexander. No, what was the middle name? I don't know. Ethan?
There is definitely not Ethan.
Lewis.
Mary
Far
Mary
from
Weather.
Ethan.
I should have named one of my kids Mary Weather. That was a good name.
I'm gonna go.
Would you have named a boy or a girl very well?
The next cat I get, we're not going to work.
The poor
I
virtual
own it.
kids are going to be like, what the heck is going on?
There, I just waved in front of it. Now
I'm
they're
sorry,
gonna
what'd you say?
see me.
Isn't it the 10?
Oh, it is. I forgot to update the date. Hold on.
Wait, now they're gonna be able to see me because I waved.
Good job. Way to ruin things.
Yeah.
It's going to
Well,
blur
it's
out
not
his
nice
face.
Oh.
Don't blur out my face.
Hey.
My
Alright.
face doesn't deserve to be blurred out.
1 cent to 0 cents.
All right. So, for this particular debate, like I said, we're going to have 3 different teams. Now, in my other classes, I have about 30 students in those classes, so the teams are going to be about 10 people apiece.
Ooh.
In this class, we have a few less than 30, if you haven't noticed. we have closer to like 15. So the teams here will be about half that size. You're going to be about 5 people per team or so, depending on how it works out. The way it works out during the debate is the 3 teams will have 3 different positions they'll take per question. So there will be an agree team, a disagree team, and then a judging team. The agree and disagree team are going to debate about a particular topic that I bring up about Andrew Jackson. Now, I know we don't know a lot about Andrew Jackson. Like, pretty much the only thing we know about him is from what? What's the one thing we talked about with Andrew Jackson so far? Emmett?
He was president.
Well, we did talk about his president.
Controversial one.
Yeah, a controversial one, but we also mentioned him before even today. Yeah, Doug?
Oh,
He was like the main commander in the New Orleans war, early battle.
Yeah, he was the hero at the Battle of New Orleans. And that's like kind of the few things we know about it. Lucas, you have something else?
he was considered like a hero.
Yeah, he was a hero at that battle because he had such a decisive victory against the British. Like, we only lost 71 Americans, and the British lost over 2,000, okay? Now, we don't know a whole lot more about him other than that, and that's one of the things we're going to be learning on this unit, but one place you might recognize him from is from this right here. This is a $20 bill. Now, I found a homeless person and borrowed this from him since I don't carry around this much money as a teacher. That was a joke. You can laugh. No.
No.
That wasn't funny? Okay. My 5th hour yesterday thought that was hilarious for some reason. Anyway, the $20 bill has Andrew Jackson's face on it. There's been talk over the last 10 years or so about removing him from the $20 bill and replacing him with someone else. The current frontrunner for that is a woman named Harriet Tubman, who was a member of the Underground Railroad rescuing escaped slaves. Bless you. Rescuing escaped slaves from the South. So they were planning on doing that, and then that decision got reversed, and now there's talk again about now switching him out again, because he's been such a controversial person during his presidency. And so one of the questions I'm going to ask you during the debate is, should Andrew Jackson remain on the $20 bill? So the agree and disagree team would be arguing over that. The judging team will be listening to the arguments, and they're going to have a sheet that kind of explains, what things you're looking for. They'll score that, and then as a team, they'll vote on which team they thought had the best argument during the debate. Yes?
What if you're on the agree team but you disagree?
That happens during debate sometimes, so you have to be prepared to be on either side to make an argument. So part of the skill that we're developing with this is not only knowing about Andrew Jackson, but learning how to make good arguments, even despite maybe you don't necessarily agree with that particular topic. Now, after each question that we do, we're going to rotate the spot that each team is on. So, like, the agree team would go to the disagree side, and then the disagree would go to the judging, and judging would go to the agree, and then we go on to the next question. So, throughout the course of the debate, you could be on either side, judging, agreeing, disagreeing for a variety of different questions or stances. Sienna?
Would you be agreeing that he would stay on the $20 bill, or would you be agreeing that he should be taken off?
Depending on how the question is worded. So I'm going to give you the list of questions before we have the debate so you guys can research and prepare for how you would respond to each one. But depending on how it's worded for the debate, the agree or disagree could affect how you're going to argue it.
Okay.
Yep. Yes?
Is it bad that I'm more worried about the Jenga part than the actual debate?
Well, the Jenga part is a little bit terrifying. This is the most stress-inducing game I've ever played.
I once had a big Jenga piece fall right on the top of my head.
That explains a lot.
It was at a hotel too.
It was where?
At a hotel. It was in the lobby. There's a big Jenga. We were playing it and it just fell on my head.
Ouch. I have seen online some people at construction site build their own giant house-sized Jenga, and they were using a crane to pull out the pieces and stuff like that, which was quite hilarious.
It probably got fired.
Evan.
I'd just like to point out that sometimes the best way to argue with someone is to start off by agreeing with them and then crippling them using their own argument.
That is a tactic during an argument, is to actually take the fallacies of what they're saying in their argument and turn that against them with it. But let's take a look at what a good argument is, because a lot of times we don't really understand what it means to make a good argument. I need my clicker. My clicker in. There it is. So I want to start by showing you guys. Where are you? Where are you, mouse? What was that noise? All right. So I want to show you guys this. This is actually from a TV show called Monty Python, and this is from Great Britain. And it's a little bit older, but it's actually a really funny skit series that they do. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live here in the United States. This was a skit that they did called the Argument Clinic, and the premise behind it is that this guy that you see not this guy, but there's another guy, he's going to go to this place to pay to get an argument with somebody because he wants just to have an argument with somebody. So that's the premise about what they're doing, and then he's going to have an argument. Now I want you to kind of observe what form this argument takes. So let's take a listen here real quick. All right, so kind of a funny sketch right there, but it's kind of interesting. What did he say about the argument they are initially having? What was wrong with that type of argument, Sienna?
It was just contradicting. There wasn't any evidence.
Yeah, just contradicting. He didn't present any evidence to it, so just saying like, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. It doesn't get anywhere. However, I did like in the second half there, the guy who came in here actually used some evidence to support his argument. Did anyone catch what that was? Lucas, what did he do?
The guy was like, I'm not arguing it. Wait, there's something about the money.
Right.
The money. He said, if I didn't pay you, then why are you arguing?
Exactly. He pointed out the logic of the situation, like, well, you're arguing with me, so I must have paid you in order to progress an argument. And that's using evidence in an argument situation to support your position. You didn't see that in anything else in the skit where they supported with evidence until he did that there towards the end. And that's, I think, part of the reason why he got so frustrated and left. All right. Does that kind of make sense? Like kind of that premise of an argument? All right, let's take, no, we don't, we already watched you. Okay. So, I want to put some words up here on the screen. I'm going to practice having an argument with you here a little bit. And I'm going to ask different people if they could maybe pronounce some of these words for me. And we can see whether they're being done correctly or not. So can I get someone who could pronounce this word for me right here? Allison.
It's not pillow. It's pillow.
You'd say pillow.
It's pillow.
Pillow. Does anyone disagree?
No.
Disagree?
With who?
I don't see it.
Who am I disagreeing with? You or him? Her?
Well, no, Allison is saying pillow. Does anyone say that it's not pronounced pillow?
Pillow.
I say,
Pillow.
I don't really say
Can
pillow.
I please do sound on?
All right. Jed was really passionate about this one too. All right, well, let's skip this one.
No.
Alyssa, how would you say this word right here?
Sauna.
What?
It's not a sauna.
Jed did the exact same thing.
What is this?
Now,
It's
I'm
sauna.
curious. So why do you say it should be pronounced that way?
Because it's a Swedish word, and with the Swedish pronunciation, it's sauna.
It's
It's
not
sauna.
sound.
So my last name is
Sauna.
not Lako, it's
No,
Lako.
it's not.
All right.
Because that's
Emmett, do you have a
British.
response to that?
It's
Come
sauna.
up to the board.
Of course, come on.
No, it's a
U-N-A.
sauna. Because
Sauna.
Okay, hold on. The floor is Emmett's right now.
So this may be a foreign word, but as many of you may know, Americans have a very different way of pronouncing everything. And if it's not pronounced the American way, we tend to disagree with it. But to do it the American way, you have sa, on, basic kindergarten, which is son,
Okay, interesting. So using evidence of taking up the syllables in it and breaking them down in arguing that this is the way it should be
Yeah,
pronounced.
so does sauna.
However, your argument would be that, no, it's based off of you said Swedish word?
Yes.
So that we should be going back to the Swedish pronunciation of it in the past. Now, I'm not here to definitively say what way you should say this word, but I liked how each of you presented evidence to support the argument you're making about its pronunciation.
It's sauna.
Sienna?
the fact that it originated from somewhere else, you should be pronouncing it that way because that's how they say it, and it's not our word, it's their word.
Just because
And
that's how.
it came to America.
Just because that's how
So
they
can I-
said it.
can I-
America didn't come up with the sauna.
Google Translate's not.
Europeans did.
But just because that's how they said it doesn't mean that's
So
how
can I
it
play
said it.
devil's advocate for a moment here and just give a counterpoint to that? So does that mean when we go to the largest city in Michigan, we should pronounce it Detroit?
Detroit.
Because that's the French, it's a French name for that city, so that's originally how it was pronounced.
I mean, I didn't know that was a thing,
Yeah,
So now
And
I've
now
talked
that I
about it in
know-
class before, but.
exactly.
but now that I know it's a thing, I might call it that.
Are you gonna go and say, hey, I'm
But-
trying to get to Detroit?
Nobody's gonna know what you're talking about.
Probably not. Yes.
Just because Swedish or whatever said sauna or whatever, I don't even know. How would you say?
Sauna.
If you say or whatever.
Just
one more
because-
time,
Or whatever.
it's
Just
making
because
your argument
Swedish
perfect.
place says sauna doesn't mean USA has to say sauna because we're not Swedish. We're not
Okay, but see, now you made that argument there, but what is lacking from that argument, though? And this isn't a judgment on you, Lucas. I think this is a good example of the thing I'm talking about. What did you not have in that argument?
Evidence.
Evidence, yeah.
Well,
you
I mean,
don't-
like, some people from the USA are gonna be Swedish, or have some Sweden, whatever, however you say it.
background, ethnicity.
Yeah, but we don't live in Sweden.
Okay, so your argument would be, like, you might show some evidence of other words that when they come to the United States change their pronunciations.
Yes.
Okay, so if you added that part to it, then you have evidence backing it up. So like the Detroit thing that I mentioned, you could use that for evidence. Or there could be, I'm struggling to think of another word right now that would be an example of this, but I think Maya's putting up 2 hands, so I'm thinking she has an example. Maya?
Well, I don't really know but like Caribbean.
Oh, Caribbean and Caribbean. Okay, there's another example of that. Doug?
Okay, so I have a reason why it's not pronounced like whatever you guys call. I think it's song.
Yeah, song.
So basically, English language is based off a bunch of Roman words. We just snapped basically all of them and just kind of threw them in and jumbled up language.
Yeah, it's a mixture of German and like French.
Yeah, and basically, like we don't. Okay, so there's a lot of words that we basically just took from languages. Like there's a few words in Italian that are basically like the exact same, but they're pronounced a little bit different.
Mhm.
And the thing is though is that a lot of things like change when they come to the U.S. Right? They get very like washed through. Right? Chinese food, it's not actually Chinese food, is it? No, it's fake Chinese food basically.
You're right.
It's our American version. So if we should be, and we do that with plenty of other words. So one word shouldn't be changed because there's already enough part of English.
Interesting. I feel like this class is going to do very well
Wow,
with this debate.
that was
So before we get too far more in the weeds with this word, let's go ahead and can I get someone to pronounce this word for me right here?
Syrup.
Leora?
Syrup.
One more time, nice and loud.
Syrup.
Syrup. All right. Does anyone pronounce that any differently? Any disagreement with that one?
Thank you.
No
Leora
syrup persons here? No
disagreeing
syrup?
with
All right. Leora?
Okay, so my dad says Keller instead of color. I'm like, Dad, there's no
He says what?
Keller. Like Helen Keller.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say.
How does that even
Color.
There's no e's in
It's
it.
like-
because
it's like
what
a-
color is like Keller is that? I'm like, Dad, it's not Keller, it's color.
Wait, how do you spell color?
Kendall?
C-O-L-O-R or C-O-L-O-U-R?
My mom says bagel instead of bagel.
Bagel?
There's a
Yeah,
French
no,
phrase,
that's.
So she goes ask for a dozen boggles?
That's cologne.
Going off for some boggles.
I have no words for that one right there. I
Oh, she
didn't.
eats bagels a lot too, so I have to hear it constantly. And it's
Bagel.
annoying.
Oh,
She doesn't hear a difference.
Hannah.
Calories.
Bagels.
My dad, instead of saying backpack, he would say backpack. Backpack?
Backpack?
Like backpack.
Or
Okay.
I
So
think that's-
I'm let's go back to some of my examples here. I'm
I think
curious to
that's
see
Sure.
how do you say this word right here, Alex?
Caramel.
Caramel?
No, it's caramel.
No.
Where's the A? Where is the A?
Yeah.
Where is the
Two
A?
syllables. Car and
Caramel.
mel. It's
There's,
caramel.
where is the A?
There's no caramel.
There's no there's caramel.
So
not caramel.
so Lucas,
Caramel.
you're making the argument
No,
that
it's not.
there seems to be an added syllable that's missing out of here. Hannah, what would be your evidence of the reason why it should be caramel?
I think it's caramel.
There is none, so that's not
Whoa,
right.
whoa.
I always said
Whoa,
caramel.
calm it down.
That's how like a lot of people were taught, and then.
Yeah, and all of them are wrong.
There's
All right,
no
all right. Emmett,
A.
what do you think?
I actually have a argument that would go against all of these words.
Okay. All of these ones?
Yeah, all
Okay.
of them, for any
You got
mispronunciation.
milk.
I think the way you pronounce a word should be based off of the native region's phonetics. Like if you're here in America,
Mm-hmm.
more specifically Northern America, where we all share a similar accent, you should pronounce words that way, even if you've been taught a different way. But if you go to somewhere else, like say Britain, instead of referring to words like we would here in America, you would say it mimicking their accent.
All right. So your evidence would be that there are different cultural ways of pronouncing
So I'd be
words that
like,
should be taken.
"Boy, I want some crisps."
Kind of like how in the United States we see aluminum, but if you go to Great Britain, it's aluminium.
Wait, can I get some crisps?
Or even.
You should have
Or
to
some
have
crisps,
that
yeah.
choice.
All right. One more. I want to try this one. Who can pronounce?
I gotta say something.
No, go back to caramel. Go back
We're
to
not
caramel.
actually having the debate right now. This is just for example.
Milk.
All right. I need someone to pronounce this one for me right here. Doug, go ahead.
Okay, no, I have something to say. Okay, so.
I'm trying to move on here.
Okay, so how did you think this class was an
forget it as often as I can.
Yeah,
Normal.
it's literally normal.
No, I sense this was going to be.
What's that?
Thought there was an alarm going off. I thought this class would have a spirited conversation about it, which is okay. Anyway, let's go back to my thing here. How do you pronounce this word?
Milk.
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 I want one person. All right. Yes.
Milk.
Milk.
What?
Okay. How do you say it?
Milk.
How do you say
Milk.
Milk.
Not
It's
milk.
not
Any-
milk.
No milk.
Milk.
No milk, people.
So you know MJ?
Ew.
Yeah, I know MJ.
She says milk. And her mom is even worse. She's like,
Yeah, I say milk too.
Yeah, her mom is
It's
milk.
not- Emma says milk.
Not,
There's no
not,
milk.
no
Oh.
offense
She
to
has what?
Evan,
No.
She has
but
a collapsed lung and her
she
vocal
does
cords
say-
are messed up. That would be why she says no.
Oh,
Everybody else is wrong.
Leora.
Okay, I looked up how many
Definitely.
syllables is in caramel, and there's 2, not 3. 2.
Again, there could be a cultural thing where you put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
But there is 2 syllables.
Only
not
one
3.
person in here.
I'm
says
so-
caramel.
Your evidence would be going, and I assume you went to a dictionary.
No.
Where did you look this information up?
Google.
Good old Google.
Okay, Google. Well, Google's not by itself is not a good source, but let's say you went to a dictionary and the dictionary specified that this word in the official English language has 2 syllables on it. That would be evidence for your case. All right, now folks, I would love to continue arguing words for you. Oh, fine, Sienna, real quick.
Okay. So, Emmett was saying.
Allison, I apologize that this is taking so long. Anyway.
Emmett was saying. So she is
This-
So
Oh.
Allison, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Shut this. Quiet.
So Emmett said that if you lived in a certain region and somebody says that specifically, then you have to say it that way.
Yeah, so should
Well,
we say
what if
Chris?
you moved from Britain with a British accent to Michigan? How are you going to change that? That's going to take a really, really long time. It doesn't just
No, that's not what he meant.
All right. So, Sienna, I love that you guys are getting into the argument aspect of this, but that's beyond where we're supposed to be at this point. So, no one more things. No more one more things. No, we're not doing the actual debate
You don't
now.
like terms.
So what I'd like to do now, since it's already 11 o'clock,
Can we take a break?
we,
It's 2.
what do you think I'm trying to do here? So we're gonna take our break. We'll head down to take our bathroom break, and then it's up to 12 degrees, so I think we can probably get away with 2 laps outside today.
Sweet, let's go.
Okay.
No.
Yes, I am. But that being is me, we will come back here. So whoever's on the, are we online? All right, excellent. All right, so let's continue talking here about our debate that we're going to be doing. We're not going to do that question. So, what is an argument? Well, an argument is something that states a position on a topic that's either pro or con. What does the word pro and con mean? We might not be familiar with those terms. What does the word pro or con mean? Yes?
Good and bad.
No, actually. That's a common misconception that it means good or bad. What does it actually mean, Emmett?
An upside and a downside to something.
No, actually not that, because that implies some sort of value to either side as well. Maya? For or against. Because the 2 that you guys used, you make it sound like there's a good side and a bad side, which is not appropriate, because something you could be con against something, and that actually could be like the good side to be on. So, for example, if you're having a debate over whether or not Mr. Hill should be fired, you'd want to take the con side, and that would be the con side that you disagree that he should be fired. The pro side would be the bad side. Maybe, and I guess depending where you're sitting at.
Not
So,
you fired.
pro and con just refers to either being on the affirmative or the negative side of the question that's at hand. Okay. An argument should be clear and concise. So if you're speaking for 20 minutes trying to make an argument, you probably aren't being clear and concise enough. You need to be able to kind of sum it up and get to the point rather quickly. It should be a persuasive. It should use facts to support. Sorry, we'll try to say it again. Using facts to support reasons to take one side or another, and it should be open to counter arguments. If you've ever done a argumentative essay in ELA, it's probably something all of you have done at some point. It's very similar to that in a debate, but you're doing it verbally versus writing it down. An argument is not just telling the other side they're wrong. Okay, you just can't be like, well, you're wrong. But that's not an argument. That you're stating something
Unless
that
you're
has
saying
no substance to it. Yes.
How do we figure out the teams? You just randomly assign.
Yes, I'm going to be assigning the teams. Lucas.
Can we make one exception? Is that if somebody is saying caramel, then we can say they are wrong.
No, that still does not make for a good argument. You have to give evidence to it. An argument is not yelling, name calling, or bullying. Okay, this is what I call the online arguments. Okay, you can't just like flame someone until they stop talking. That does not make for a good argument as well. Making up information to support your positions. If I told you that 70% of all statistics are made up on the spot, that's not a good argument because I literally just made up that statistic. So if you're making up statistics or information that does not help support your argument, it actually hurts your argument in the long run. Appealing solely to emotion. An argument doesn't just appeal to your emotion. So if you're in an argument with a friend and said, hey, you're my best friend, you should support me on this. That's actually not a good argument. You're just appealing to their emotions or something about your relationship with them to try to get them to agree.
I've said that.
If you're in a debate making an argument, using I think statements are not helpful. So if you say, well, I think this, or I think that, or I believe this, it's kind of like if you're writing a formal essay, you don't use first person words. Like you don't generally start off a formal essay saying, I think this, or I am going to argue this. You want to try to take out that first person pronouns out so that it's more of a statement of fact in your voice. So for example, if we're going back to the Andrew Jackson $20 bill thing, I would start off maybe a debate saying, it is clear that Andrew Jackson does not deserve to be on the $20 bill because of his actions at X, Y, and Z. And that would be a way to start off that argument without using that I statement. Melissa?
Also, I think gives away a lot of your confidence. So like if you were to go to the surgeon and they're like, oh yeah, I know how to do this, I think, then you kind of
well, and that's kind of, it makes it more into it sounds more like a personal opinion than it does like a statement of fact or an argument. Evan?
Last I remember, I don't think Andrew Jackson was at the XYZ there.
That's a good point, Evan. Thank you. That's my hand over here. No? Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so this is not really weird, but there is technically a way you can kind of sort of lie with statistics.
Say that again.
I said there is a way that you kind of sort of lie with statistics.
And what's that?
I don't know, I just heard you.
All right.
There's a way. I just don't know how.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you, like, statistics are always tricky because it depends on how you interpret the data and how you read it can kind of influence how it's being presented as well. So that's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. All right, so what does a debate look like here? I want to show you a quick video of some middle schoolers doing a debate to kind of give you an idea of like what would that look like when we're doing it here together.
No way,
Those sixth graders?
Yeah, those are.
These are definitely 8th graders.
Debate is
No.
That's like a what?
not something that you find in your everyday curriculum. I would like to start off by refuting some of my opponent's points. You're not going to be doing debate every day in history class. That's unusual. And because it's something out of the ordinary, I really enjoy it. We research, but at the same time we have fun. And then we talk about a lot of things, and it also makes you more knowledgeable about a certain topic that's actually happening in real life. Last year at the end of the year, in my social studies class, we had a mini debate, and I really liked it because I guess I like arguing with people.
However, the other team lacked to state the number of people that died from secondhand smoke. How many died? 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million? We don't know.
And I enjoy having like intelligent debates with people and understanding different points of views on different topics.
So as long as you say everything at least once, we're good. Nicotine, addictiveness.
How many people smoke out of 7 million people in a lot?
One thing I always keep in mind when I'm debating or when I'm writing the contentions is why they're wrong and how I can refute it.
I mean, you have to put together an argument, but you don't know how the other team is going to refute those arguments. So you need to be ready to come up with arguments to refute the other team's arguments quickly.
There are several things that have to make a team good. First off, it's teamwork. Second off, it's how good the speaker can speak. Are they eloquent? Can they articulate well? The third aspect is how good are they on their feet? And this is, from my perspective, the most important thing. You have to find information for both the prop and the op, because you don't know if you're going to be on the prop side or the opposition side, because you find out on the day, so you have to be prepared for both.
Judges, they have to sit through like 4 debates a day, so you also want to make sure that they're entertained during the debate.
They only brought up 38 cases of the millions of refugees coming from Syria. You could say that about anything. How many people died from getting hit in the head with coconuts?
So past topic was to ban all travel to West Africa because of Ebola. Now saying that more people have been married to Kim Kardashian than Americans have died of Ebola. And that just cracked the judge up and made everyone in the room laugh.
Basically, all you do is improve, and if the only thing you focus on is winning, you don't really learn much, and it's not really a learning experience. Even if I actually lose, if I learn something, it's still a very successful day, just not as successful as winning, but overall, I just want to win.
Cigarettes are claimed to relieve stress, but the cigarettes just make smokers more aware of the stress, and they even cause more stress, causing the smokers to smoke more, thinking that it's relieving their stress.
When they said 2/3 of Americans voted to keep the penny, I don't remember ever taking the survey. I don't think anyone in this room remembers taking the survey.
They said like 600,000 people are losing jobs. However, Darius, let me remind you of the 6 million people that are dying.
I know, fifth place,
But I got more points than
got
him.
this trophy.
Oh, but I got more points than him. So
Okay, that's cool,
so
but
I'm cool.
everyone out there really cares about the policing, so.
But yeah, last year I got 2 medals, I think. Oh no, it was 3, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a trophy though.
Alright, you might have noticed that they were dressed up, and typically for a debate, that's what
Debate.
people do because,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of a formal thing, kind of like how, like, on a sports ball team, you might dress up on game day, that kind of thing. I am not going to require you guys to dress up for it, so if you want to, though, more power to you. I think it's a good presentation of it. Alright, so this is what you see right up here is actually what you see at the top of that sheet that I passed out to you, so let's make sure that's out on our desk. We can have that sheet out so we can review how this is going to look. So there, like I said before, 3 different teams that are selected by the teacher. I'm going to work hard to try to have a variety of people on each team, so I'll be selecting that. Each team will have time ahead of time to research and go over what their arguments are going to be and put together their information. Throughout the course of the debate, you will cycle through either being an agree team, a disagree team, or a judge team. Now, one of your questions might be, if I'm on the judge team, how do I do that? How do I know what to do? You're actually going to get a piece of paper that will help you as kind of a guide as to what things you're looking for in the judging process. Your team will then vote on which particular side you thought presented the best argument, and that team will then get to go up and pull the Jenga piece. Now, I as a teacher will be the tie-breaking vote if there's a tie within the team. I also am going to retain a veto power. So if I think your team is being a little bit biased, like you're trying to go for certain friends to favor them, I retain the right to veto and say, no, this is not how this goes. This team had the better argument. We're going to let them pull the next piece. All right. Each round we will rotate through the agree, disagree, and judge teams. If the tower falls during your poll, then your team is automatically eliminated, and the 2 remaining teams get to decide who the winner is based on their point value at that point. Yes?
Can we practice it today?
I can't hear you. Say again.
Can they practice it today?
Practice what, the Jenga thing?
Yeah.
No, not today. But I'm hoping to have a Jenga practice at some point before we do the debate. All right, so how is this going to look? Well, we're going to have the disagree team, the agree team, and then the judge team. Now, because my other classes, I have about 10 people per team, I wouldn't expect all 10 people to come up and try to debate at one time. That would be a little bit chaotic. So what I'm going to do is have like 3 people from each of those teams come up and do the debate, and then within the team, they rotate who is going to be debating for each question. For you guys, it's a little bit different since your team is going to be about 5 people. You can either have like 2 people come up and debate, or you could maybe debate as a group of 5. I have to think about how that's going to look because I have to be something that cognizant that everyone is able to participate. So that's basically a visual of how that's going to work. And don't worry, if you don't remember all of this, we are going to go over all this again before we do the debate as a reminder of the structure and everything for it.
Great.
I know. All right, frequently asked questions, FAQ. Michelle, will we get to know the questions ahead of time? Yes, you will have a whole list of all the questions that will be asked during the debate, so your debate team can practice and go over what you would say in case you're on the agreed side or the disagreed side, so you can be prepared for both. Mr. Hill, I'm on the judge team. How do I know how to judge this? Well, like I was saying, you'll have a score sheet to help you keep track of like good arguments or things that they might have messed up on, so you have like a visual of like, okay, they did well with this, but maybe not so with this, to help you make a decision as to what side you're going to vote for. All right, Mr. Hill, I don't know anything about Andrew Jackson. How will I know what to debate? Well, that's what we're going to do over the next week and a half here. We're going to have a chance to watch a video in class, do some book work, have some discussions maybe a quick Google slide or something like that, not like the ones that we've been doing, but much, much smaller. And we're gonna actually put together some research on Andrew Jackson. In a little bit, I'm gonna give you guys a research guide that you can use over the next couple weeks to kind of organize your thoughts, ideas, and information about Andrew Jackson so you can speak intelligently about him. Well, I guess I don't see you on Thursday. When I see you again next Tuesday, oh my gosh. We're gonna watch a video. Oh, next Wednesday. Holy smokes. I'm not gonna see you guys for a whole other week.
Wait, why?
That's a full
Well, it's a B day on Thursday, and then for some silly reason they have another B day on Tuesday of next week.
Wait, what about Monday?
Monday I got you off.
We're not going. Wait, what?
No,
Yeah.
President's
It's President's Day. Thank you, U.S. History. So you have no.
President's Day, we normally have to go to school.
You don't have to go to school on President's Day.
Wait, so we have a 4-day weekend this week?
Well, not really. I mean, you have work you have to do on Friday.
No, we have a
but
4-day weekend.
other than that, it's a 4-day
We
weekend.
don't have to go to school.
Pardon?
We don't have to go to school.
So
On Friday, yeah, correct. You do not need to go. You should not come to school on Friday because it is.
There's nobody.
There's not gonna be anyone here to let you in. So.
there might be a
Yes.
teacher.
Okay, so I was wondering, on the back, it says extra credit.
I'll get to there. I'm getting there. Yeah. All right. So that's how that part works. Let's look at the back here now. Actually, since Doug brought that up, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So you'll notice on the rubric that I have on the back here, if you totaled up all those points, it equals 100 points.
Oh no.
My goodness.
That's a lot of points. However, it's a pretty big project that we're doing here, and there's a way in which you're going to earn each of those 100 points. The first 20 points are going to come from your research guide. Actually, let me pass this out to you right now so you can take a look at it. I have this and one other page I'll give you later that will be your research guide. This is going to be where you just put down the basics of all the facts and information that you discover about Andrew Jackson. This will be a way for you to organize your information, keep it all in one place. I would recommend that you go ahead and put your name on this so that if you were to misplace it, you could get it back. Because you don't want to put all your information in this and then lose it and then not have it. That would just be sad and we would all cry. Pardon me? Oh, I guess I can do that. Everything okay there? Or trying to hotwire it?
I'm just sitting here listening to you.
I'm glad someone is.
Psych.
So if you look at this research guide, I actually put all kinds of information about the entirety of Andrew Jackson's life. So on the front page, you see like about his early childhood. For example, one of the things we're going to talk about is that when he was a kid, about 13 or 14 years old, he actually fought in the American Revolution, not as a soldier, but he was a runner between armies. So like if they had a message they had to get across, they'd give it to him and he'd take it to the other army to give to them. Well, he was actually captured by the British at one point, him and his brother, and he was lippy to one of the British officers who captured him. And so the British officer took out his sword and slashed him across his head. So he had a scar like on his skull right across here.
Wait, he didn't die?
He didn't die, no, he just got cut really bad. And so he had that scar from the British, and that's part of the reason why he hated the British so much is because of what they did to him when he was captured. So that would be obviously something that might, like if I brought up the question like, did Andrew Jackson have any biases? You might be able to argue that he did based on that experience. Leora.
What did you do to make the British slash?
So he was kind of lippy to the officer. Like he made it, like the officer was telling him to do something, and Andrew Jackson basically said, "I'm a soldier, sir, and you should treat me as such." And this was kind of like disrespectful to him, and so the officer like took out his sword and slashed him across the head. All right. Now, if you move on to the second page here, there's more information about things from his life, things that we're going to talk about. Of course, the Battle of New Orleans is on here. Okay, that's something we've already mentioned a bit about how he was a hero at that battle. Annexation of Florida. Andrew Jackson was responsible for us taking Florida, and he did it by force. He illegally went in and captured Florida from the Spanish. We'll talk about how that happened as well. If you go to the very back page, you'll see something that says the Trail of Tears. This is something Andrew Jackson's most notorious for, is that he authorized the forced removal of the Native Americans from east of the Mississippi River to west of the Mississippi River. Like, moved thousands and thousands of Native Americans. And it's called the Trail of Tears because many of them died along that journey where they were like being marched west to present-day Oklahoma. So there are many things to his life that we're going to be talking about. That's just a couple examples, but this research guide is going to be really helpful in doing that. When we're at the end of the debate, I'm going to check this, and there's going to be another page I give to you for your research. That research is going to make up the 20 points that you see there at the top. So if you have your research, you've done it, you put everything together, that's your 20 points for that. The next one down says index cards. Index cards are something I'm going to be giving you at the beginning of the debate. On this index card, anytime you're going to be debating a question, so like let's say you're up here when I give the question about the $20 bill, if you should stay on the $20 bill or not. You would write down $20 bill question, agree team, or disagree team, depending which one you're on. And that's going to be a list of all the debate questions you took part in. At the end, on the back of that index card, you're going to write a reflection that you see described up at the top of the page there. And that reflection is going to get turned into me at the day after the debate when I see you next. That reflection and index card is going to be worth an additional 20 points. The big one out of this is the 40 points. That's the debate participation. The participation in the debate is you actually coming up here and debating the questions back and forth. I am requiring that you participate in at least 3 different ways during the debate. So you're up here arguing back and forth, you're participating, you're saying things. Now your question might be, Mr. Hill, what if I'm on quarantine? And I can't be here that particular day, or if I'm absent or something like that. Well, this is where we're going to bring in a magnificent tool called Flipgrid.
Whoa.
How many people, has anyone here not used Flipgrid before? Never used Flipgrid? All right, so Flipgrid is a way to post online short videos, and you can respond to other people's videos as well. So if for some reason you didn't get to participate as much in the debate as you wanted to, you can go into Flipgrid, add a response on there, post your own video. If you weren't here that day, you would have to do that several times on the Flipgrid and post it. Now, someone mentioned the idea of extra credit. If you got through the debate and you wanted to go and post a few more videos or a few more arguments and then respond to a few other people's arguments, I would be willing to grant some extra credit for continuing the debate online on the Flipgrid. So I will have a Flipgrid just for this class that you can get online and you can do those kind of question debates with to continue it beyond what we did in the classroom. Allison.
Why can't the online people just go into Zoom and participate then?
Yeah.
I mean, they could, but the problem I've been finding is that they're not always available to do the Zoom during the class time. And if they're legitimately sick with something, then no, I want them focusing on recovering versus, trying to get onto Zoom to be here with us. So not everyone is absent because of quarantine. Some people are legit sick. Yes?
So I was wondering, how much extra credit would be for?
I'm going to limit it to probably no more than 15 points. Because if you get 100% on this and then you get an extra 15 points, that's 115%, which is getting in kind of the outrageous category. So, yeah. So 15 points maximum on that.
Wait, if you have a 93% in the class, let's just say, I'm not saying I do.
Of course, of course.
If I got 115%, would that boost my grade up to 100%?
Be very, very close. Yep. All right. The last part, all work is turned in neat, legibly, and turned in on time. That is worth 20 points. So every day past when this is due that I'm not getting it, I'm marking off points. If you turn your work into me and it's a crumbled, jumbled mess, that will mark you off points. If you turn it into me and I have no way of legibly reading your writing, then that will lose you points as well. So that's where the neat part comes in there at the bottom. All of these parts are in here. I've written them out so you can peruse that at your own leisure and let me know if you have questions about that. If you're wondering during the participation, what kind of, that says it's teacher observations for that 40 points. What things am I looking for? Well, I have that in my list of debate do's up at the top. So being polite and courteous, listening attentively, being respectful and supportive of your peers, avoiding inappropriate noises, which is sad that I have to put that there, that I have to tell 8th graders to be avoiding inappropriate noises.
Wait, what? You've had somebody in a debate just start doing that?
Well, I have people in class doing that.
Well, yeah, but that's
Well, yeah, like let's say we're doing a debate and someone's making a point and someone's like, boo, or something like that. Like that kind of stuff can't happen during the debate. Speak only when you're recognized by the moderator. Allow others to express their opinions. Do not monopolize the debate. Use grammatically correct language. Speak clearly, slowly, and loud enough that everyone can be heard in the audience. and speak with passion and enthusiasm. So those are the things that I'm looking for during the debate in terms of determining your participation grade. Yes, Sienna.
So this is over the next few weeks.
Correct. Correct. This isn't something I'm expecting you. Well, I mean, you might have to do parts of it at home, but I'm not expecting like okay, see you later. Good luck with this, and I'll see you in 2 weeks when we do the debate. We're going to be working on it during class.
And then is it like you're going to be telling us stuff, or we're going to be researching this stuff?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So we're going to start off next Tuesday watching a video about Andrew Jackson to kind of give you an overview of his life. I'm going to do a couple lessons. So basically, how I'm going to break it up is like we have these like 105-minute classes. First like 45 minutes, I'm going to like teach you something about Andrew Jackson. Like the last 45 minutes or so, I'm going to give you time to work with your team to come up with more information.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we getting our groups like to work on this together, like before the debate, or are we joining this like at the debate after our research?
What?
Like, are we getting our like group next time?
I hope to. Yeah, I should be able to give you your groups next time we get together. Yeah. Lucas.
So you're saying like I can't say like that ain't true, or something like that, right?
Yeah. So if someone's like up here like giving their point, they're like saying their point here, and you're like, that ain't true, yo, and like in the middle of while they're talking, that's gonna mark you down. Yeah. So you have to be respectful. Part of a debate is you're not just shouting someone else down while they're arguing. You have to give them a chance to say their piece and then respond. Doug.
Okay, so this is not related to the project, right? I was wondering, do you know if there's like isn't there like a debate class in high school?
I believe there is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's either a class or a club. I'm not sure which one it is.
I'm very good at arguing.
It's a class? Okay. All right. Yes, you are. This whole class.
Oh, that class
Well, I have a passion for arguing.
You have a passion for arguing.
That class would be fun, but it would also be really, really loud.
Yes.
It would be.
And
It
can
would
be
be.
loud?
But I mean, honestly, arguing is a really good skill to have, especially not just in social studies, but it works well in social studies, but in general, that you can articulate a point in a very rational way.
And at home, it's good at home.
And at home as well, yes. Yes.
My uncle, he plays devil's advocate for fun whenever him and anybody's having a conversation. So he's hilarious because he took that class and he's actually really good at having a debate, and everyone else just can't because he even knows he's wrong. He'll argue that baloney is spelled bologna, like just he knows he's wrong, but he argues just to argue.
Some people just, I mean, like that argument clinic clip that we watch, some people just like to have arguments. That's just who they are. All right. So folks, what I'd like to finish up with today is I want to give you one of the resources that we're going to be using for this, and it's the vocab for chapter 14. Now, I don't want you to freak out about this. It's not going to be due for like weeks. I'm going to give you time in class to work on this. I just wanted to give it to you today since we had about 10 minutes left. You could maybe get the first couple of them done. I wouldn't recommend trying to rush. I would not recommend trying to rush through this and do it all now, because some of the stuff we will talk about over the next 2 weeks that you could then fill in after the fact. But I want to make sure you had a copy of it today to start things off. So, any other questions about the debate here before we kind of wrap up for the day and I just give you some time to work on this? Yes, Hannah.
Wasn't there like a video you were supposed to show us? They got me like right break.
Oh, I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, it was a video that I found I had saw on TikTok about it was like an American and a British someone from Britain talking about the different parts of a car. So like if you go to Britain, like if you call, so what do you call the front of a car where like that covers the engine?
Called a hood.
A hood. They call it a bonnet.
Bonnet.
Yeah. What do you call the back part of a car where you store everything?
Trunk.
Trunk.
They call it the boot.
Yeah, they call it a boot there. What else do they call it? That was in the car. What do you call the substance you put in the car to make it go?
All gas.
Gas.
Or
They call it
diesel fuel.
They call it petrol.
Petrol.
Yeah. So it was just kind of a good illustration of like how different places say different things.
I would love saying petrol instead of gas. Petrol, petrol is so much cooler.
You almost just fell.
Sienna, the words are too friendly.
Good.
They're like,
Yes.
oh, a bonnet. We're like, no, hood.
In the hood.
Well, I mean, you would cite Google as a source for your information, but you could use Google to help find a spot where you can get this information. Yes, please do. Yep, we're all wrapping.
Bye, Allison. We miss you.
It's not